crazy just how good modern lenses have got in terms of the sharpness and the quality of images that you can get out of them. I mean, this lens that I've got on my Fuji X-S10 and that I use regularly, the Sigma 18 to 50 f2.8, is, you know, by far one of the most reliable and sharpest lenses that I've ever used, and that goes for a lot of lenses. But oftentimes, you know, for all that sharpness and that optical perfection, your images can end up looking a little sterile, a little clinical. And so what do you do when you want to take the edge off and you want to introduce a bit of character into those images? Well, you use one of these, and this is a mist filter. Greetings YouTube, my name is Stuart, and I'm on a mission to document my journey as a photographer and videographer using the Fujifilm ecosystem, sharing the gear and the settings that I use, all while showing you how I spend my downtime here in South Korea. And today I'm in a location that I've been a few times already, Euljiro. It is for sure a favorite location of mine to come and shoot and, you know, to come and eat and drink. Really one of these areas that's kind of reinvented itself, you know, pretty much formally, and still is very much an industrial area, but now has all these, you know, really aesthetic and alluring bars and restaurants. And so given the amount of content, video and photo that I've shot in Euljiro, I thought, you know, this would be a good place to explain why I use a mist filter for my work, how a mist filter works essentially, and the benefits, and whether or not you should use one. Now, a mist filter is essentially this little piece of glass that goes over the camera lens. Mine screws on. I know you get some that you know, you can magnetically attach them, and essentially the way this mist filter works is it's got these little flecks. Okay, so it's got these little kind of flecks on the glass element, and what those flecks do is they disperse the light and they lower the contrast and they create halations, especially around very bright lights. And so instead of getting these really sharp contrasty images, the light kind of changes from very harsh into very subtle kind of glow, depending on the grade or level of black mist filter that you've got. So black mist filters are, you know, really designed to work well at night. And the reason I like to use them in Korea especially is because you've got a lot of this very bright signage. You know, you've got a lot of contrast often in the night lights, and so having a mist filter can just help to soften and bring that contrast down a little bit. With stronger black mist filters, what they do is they use a higher density of those little flecks or particles that I spoke about earlier, and also at a smaller size. So because of this higher density, you get a greater blooming effect and kind of a much lowered contrast image if you're using a stronger, higher strength mist filter. Not all black mist filters are created equal though, and as you can see on this chart from Tiffin, you've got a whole wide range of mist filters with different levels of contrast reduction. Personally, I like using a mist filter because of the effect that it provides. Cityscapes that would normally be quite harsh kind of really have a nice atmosphere about them, and you get this kind of futuristic, almost sci-fi look about your images. If you look closely in movies and films on TV and in cinema, you can see that this is an accessory that is quite often used to add a certain kind of creative element. Mist filters can also be used for portraits, simply because by reducing the contrast, the overall contrast of the image, you do kind of tend to hide skin imperfections by using a mist filter. So again, with mist filters, you know, if you get a stronger mist filter, you can have a really kind of pronounced effect. But if you dial it back a bit, like I prefer to do, then you get this more subtle kind of glow about your images, which just adds a really nice touch to them. So the mist filter that I use is the Kenko Black Mist number 5, and they're a Japanese brand, and I have hardly ever removed this mist filter from my Sigma 18 to 50 f2.8 since I've got it. There are a ton of brands out there, Moment, Nisi, Tiffin, you name it, but you know, like I say, I've had zero problems with this brand, and I would like to think that that's got something to do with the fact that it is quality Japanese craftsmanship. They do also have a wide range of other filters that I would like to try out at some point. So they've got a snow cross filter, I think it is, what they call a nostal tone, which kind of gives your images a nostalgic look, kind of a very nostalgic filter. And then they've also got an animal flare series of filters, which definitely look quite interesting. Overall, a black mist filter or mist filter, whatever you want to call it, is a really interesting, inexpensive, and kind of easy way to experiment with your photography and add something different to your style. However, I will say that, before you go buying every mist filter out there, it is important to understand what you want your images to look like, and understand what the mist filter can do for you in terms of creative effects before simply going wild. So if you use a mist filter, drop your brand or kind of model below. Let me know if there are any kind of other accessories that you would like me to have a look at. Thank you for joining me on this little tour of Euljiro tonight, and thank you very much for watching this episode of The Weekend Salaryman, and I'll see you in the next one.